What's up, ZBrushers? Welcome back to ZViewer. My name is Ricky, and today I wanted to go over a little workflow I've been toying around with. In some of the previous videos, we went over some hard surface techniques for generating armor and things of that nature. But I wanted to see what we could do in the area of jewelry design, right? Bear in mind, I'm not a jeweler, so take any of this with a grain of salt, but I wanted to see what ZBrush can do. In the past, we've used things like shadow box and other techniques. So I wanted to see what we can do inside of ZBrush to generate some designs, and then try to create some topology and see what we can make. Okay, so there are a couple of ways that you can draw things out. You could utilize this quick sketch up here, and it just gives you a canvas that you can draw on with symmetry. But my thinking behind it is, if the end goal is to generate topology, why not just use a plane, subdivide a plane, use a brush, and then you use your painting tools, and then just draw out your design. Simple enough. And so let me duplicate this here. I'm just gonna fill this and turn that one off. Fill it. Color. Fill object. All right. Okay. So I'm just gonna use my standard brush with the freehand on, and I've gone through and I've set my stroke up to something like the lazy mouse, up to 32 for the lazy radius, just to give me some nice fluidity, right? And so just going to draw out a design, right? Nothing crazy. And these are just ideas, right? Now I'll show you where this will come in useful in a minute. So I'm just gonna draw that out, and then I'd like to, I don't know, I kind of like this idea of shape coming around here. Okay. So I was thinking like this could be like a necklace or something like that. Who knows? I mean, those might need to be rounded out a little bit, but let's see what we can come up with here. Okay. So from this, let's say this is our design. We want to go with this. We got to start generating some topology. Now we could do a couple things. We could mask by color, but I'm not going to do that. It just doesn't make sense. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to generate a couple of pieces of topology. So we're going to go through, grab our masking brush, just go through here. We might need to drop that down a little bit. And you can even, with your masking brush on, you can turn on lazy mouse. That will make your life easier. There we go. Should probably turn down a little bit. This will help you stay somewhat true to form, right? And remember, this is just general outline, right? Go through. Just want to make sure that you don't have any like areas of white in there, because you'll get some holes in your topology. So let me check this. I'm going to turn off the polypaint. You come back up here. There we go. And so that'll let me know how things are going. I can actually come back in here. See, there's a little area there that needs some TLC. we're gonna run with that. Okay. And so from this, we'll just like in the previous videos, we'll just do an extraction, right? Now I can do I can add some thickness, but what I'm gonna do is just cut out any amount of thickness, and I don't want it to be doubled, because then that's just going to cause geometry to go through the back end, and that's not what we're looking for. I want a flat piece of geometry. So I'm going to extract this, and then I'm going to say accept. You're not going to see it yet because it's existing in the same space. Now if I go over here, turn that off, now look at that. Got this lovely little piece of geometry. Turn on symmetry. I can actually come through and clean some of this up. Whenever you're working with a piece that is thin like this, it's easy to lose track of it. So I'm going to go down here to my display properties and turn double on, so that I never lose track of where it is. Alright, so I'm gonna call this good. I'm not gonna go through here and smooth all this stuff out. So what I really want to get to at this point is I need to Z-remesh this. See, right now it pulled from the geo that was on the plane, which was subdivided so it could pick up the polypaint. So I'm gonna go to geometry, Z-remesher, and I'm going to drop that down pretty low, see, just to see what it gives me. Alright, I'm going to hit it one more time. One more time. Okay. Alright, I'm pretty happy with that. Probably come through and clean some of this stuff up, but this gives me some other ideas, some other shape ideas I might be able to use later. So let's go ahead and get our other pieces of geometry before we get into the ZModeler. So I want to get back over here, turn off my polyframe. I'm gonna hide everything else, and I'm gonna clear that mask and turn my polypaint back on. Okay. So essentially this is just going to end up being two pieces. It's going to be this bottom piece and this piece up here. So I wouldn't worry so much about keeping it too exact. You don't have to keep a solid edge whenever you're drawing out this mask, because as you can see on the Z-remesher kind of cleaned things up pretty nicely for us, right? So we want to try and let ZBrush work to our advantage, right? So I think this is going to be okay. Let me turn that off. So I definitely want to come through and fill this in a little bit. Now you could, if you like to use an external program, you could actually come through with like if you draw something out in Photoshop or Sketchbook. Sketchbook's got a nice symmetry tool in there. So if you draw the design in there, you can actually turn that into an alpha. And then you could just mask by alpha, and you can get to this point even faster, right? So I'm just trying to give you guys some concepts to go by, right? So let's extract this piece. Extract, accept. Then we're gonna go over to you, turn that plane off. Probably not gonna mess with that anymore. And you're gonna have to adjust the display properties on each individual piece. So there we go. Make sure symmetry is on, otherwise the Z-remesher is going to give me some funky results. So again, I'm going to drop that all the way down. I'm going to go ahead and leave adaptive on. It's not a big deal. And there we go. We got some topology that seems to be useful. I like that a lot better. As you can see, I like to hit this a few times. So what I'll probably do is go through. It seems to have a problem whenever I'm going across the line of symmetry. Whenever you're trying to stitch things, so I'm probably going to go through and close this, and I'll show you a way to work around it. So let's go ahead and jump into the ZModeler. Alright, so we gotta start shaping this thing. So let's hop to it. The first thing we're gonna have to do is we're gonna have to address this issue right here. And so what we want to do is we need to bridge these. So I'm in the ZModeler. I'm going to bridge two edges, right? So I'm going to bridge this edge to that edge, and it's going to give me that. But if you'll notice, we're going to run into a problem with the line of symmetry here. So here is a quick way of dealing with this. So if we just go over to our modify topology under the geometry and just mirror and weld, boom, there we go. Alright, and so then we can go through, and I want to stitch these. So I'm going to stitch this to that. There we go. Alright, so now this will play a little bit nicer. And so let's start shaping this. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm just going to be shaping the points, right? But I wanted to simplify it. So for now, I'm going to delete by symmetry, right? And what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be using my mask lasso. Alright, so what I'm going to do with this lasso is I'm just going to grab verts. Start with this outer edge. And this will make sense in a minute. So I'm going to grab those. I'm going to invert the mask. Then I'm just going to use my transpose line to pull things back. Because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to establish a shape. Right? So I'm going to keep this pretty simple, right? And this technique, I actually have to credit Mr. musashidanmcgrath. He's like this Scottish samurai warrior that happens to do work in ZBrush. He's got a really great channel, guys. You gotta go check him out. He's done some really great in-depth tutorials, especially whenever it comes to hard surface. And you know, he's always got something interesting going on over there. He's got this really good tank tutorial that I think you guys would appreciate very much. So let me go back through. This time I want to grab this inner edge. And pretty much just do the same thing. This is going to kind of get a little wonky. I'm not too concerned with it, simply because I'm just not. So you could come through with your clip curve. I always get this wrong. I don't know why. There we go. That way, it's just kind of squishes all those up to the same line. All right, so now that I've shaped this, I need to start getting this thing stitched back together. So what I want to do is I want to mirror and weld in both the Z and in the X. Now the problem that you're going to run into is that because this was pulled from a plane, it's sitting, it's crossing the Z, so you need to pull this out just a little bit. Otherwise it's going to give you a response and say, hey, there's no geometry, dude. So we're going to do that, and then we might as well, before we mirror across, we might as well start stitching this guy together. Alright, so at this point I'm just going to speed this up. This is going through just basic tools, the basic stuff in the ZModeler. Basically all you're seeing right here is just some bridging, and we'll be doing some vertex splitting and things like that. So for those of you who are already up to speed on things like this, you know, I hope that what I've discussed up to this point has been helpful to you. Please stick around. Check out my other videos, and definitely subscribe, because we're going to be going through a lot of other things here in the future. So this method is, you know, just one of several that I've come up with. With 3D printing coming along the way that it is, this is just going to open up the possibilities, especially as far as design is concerned. You know, the reason that I stick with ZBrush is because it gives me design fluidity. It gives me the ability to make changes on the fly, and it's very fast. I definitely spent more time editing this video than I actually did designing this piece. You know, this didn't have a concept at the beginning. I just drew something out, ran with it, and came up with something that, you know, I could easily throw up on Shapeways. This could, you know, you can throw this out for printing. I could even turn this into a piece for character. You know, it's just an asset, right? So ZBrush makes it that simple. And so this is why I love this program so much, and this is why I want to share things with you guys. So thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful, and please subscribe. Happy ZBrushing, guys.